Hi everyone. Get your glasses, this
Hey,
is
everyone.
serious.
Okay.
We're here to talk today about how much our first month has cost. Well, it's not really our first month. It's our second month because we haven't done the costing while we had Oliver with us because there were 3 people. We were doing a lot more as far as eating out and drinking because we were showing him a good time, and it wouldn't have been a true comparison. And we did a lot of kilometres really fast in the first month because we were doing a bit of a trip for him for the first 3 weeks. So
Yeah, we wanted to present something that was indicative of the two of us travelling, as far as 2 adults in a motorhome, travelling around Ireland. If you're thinking about doing it and you want to know what it's going to cost you, this is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether it was in February or March or June or whatever, we're actually doing it for the month of August. Basically from like the 1st of August to the 30th of August.
31st.
So yeah, 31 days, isn't there? Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, 1st of August to the 31st of August inclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, so another little disclaimer too, this is just what it cost us. So obviously people travel differently. People might travel, you might come over and it might cost you more, it might cost you less. You might travel slower, you might travel quicker, you might drink more alcohol than we do, you might want to go to more pubs than what we do.
Not possible.
But it's a snapshot for us, what we do, what we've done, what it costs us, just to give you an idea on how much it would possibly cost you.
And something else to take into consideration is we're vegetarian, so we don't buy meat, which I think would be a significant saving. And
Absolutely.
and we do fasting, so we only have 2 meals a day. We don't have breakfast. We don't have our first meal till lunchtime. Having said that, when we do eat lunch, it's generally a €10 a day lunch, which may not seem a lot, but it is when you're eating out of your eating from home, because we generally just have €10 worth of fruit because we love it. So it's blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. We just have the biggest bowl of fruit, and we generally have that most days for lunch. So that's kind of ups the amount of money we're spending on our groceries, but then we're not having breakfast. And we also often fast 1 or 2 days a week, so we might have a whole day and occasionally 2 days without any food, so that needs to be reflected in the price as well.
And that's just us, okay?
Yeah.
So we're weird, okay? Not everyone's going to do that, but that's just the way that we live.
So
that's what we do.
Take that in consideration.
So it's probably a good place to start. So what we'll do is we've got I guess sections that we'll talk about. I think we start with groceries. We're talking about food.
Yeah, so groceries, they're generally about 30. This is all in euros, so if I say dollars, it's a mistake. We're all in euros. And we've done it in euros because if you were coming over to Europe, you would need to work out what your exchange rate would be at that time. So we've done everything in the currency that we're using all the time, with the exception when we were in Northern Ireland, it was in pounds sterling, but we converted that back to euro because euro is what we're going to be using predominantly while we travel. So per day for groceries, it was our biggest cost, and that was €30.62 a day. The next biggest...
Well, like we talked about before, there's a lot of... We don't buy meat.
And that's our alcohol as well.
That includes the alcohol as well. Okay, well...
a lot of red wine.
Let's cut that out, right? Cut that out. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I've got the figures. I've done all the figures. I get to do all the fun stuff. So eating out, we don't do a lot of eating out, but we have been going to pubs a bit and having a few drinks because we want to do, see the live music. It's probably not something we do around most of Europe. We don't eat out a lot because being vegetarian, there just aren't a lot of choices for us. So that is very limiting. And the few things that we've had are often pretty bad, though we've had a couple of great meals, but Europe and the UK haven't gotten on to vegetarian meals in restaurants like Australia has. In Australia, we get great meals anywhere at any restaurant. So eating out is €13.85 a day. Our next biggest one is our petrol and our gas. Now, we haven't travelled a lot of kilometres, so it's not that bad actually, and that's the gas for our heating, cooking.
LPG.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about, we in a motorhome, we don't go into paid caravan camping sites. I'm sure you've heard of the term wild camp. As I've mentioned before, we use an app called Park for Night, and we've stayed in some absolute cracker spots, and it's cost us zero. Okay, so when you're wild camping, 99.9% of the time, you're using a lot. You're going through the gas. Your gas runs your fridge. We've got a Truma heater, so there's been a couple of times where it's been quite cold, and we've put that on. Your gas for your cooking, you're using it all the time.
Yeah. So that's the fridge as well, because when we pulled up, it does the fridge. I don't know if you said that.
So the fridge is continually running on gas, except for when we're driving. Then it switches over to 12 volts. So we're going through. I would say, compared to your holiday type thing where you go away for 2 weeks, we're continually using gas.
So the petrol,
including the gas, the gas with the diesel. It's a diesel motorhome.
It's €5.14 a day. Now the next biggest one, which was a surprise to us, and we're getting better at it. I'd done a lot of homework previously, but being over here full time, we've had to do it differently again, and we're going to do something about that and let you know later down the track once we've been to a few different countries and we've fixed it up. That's our internet. Internet has been quite an expensive thing for us, and that's €4.30 a day. Then we have our washing, which is quite expensive to do over here. I really resent washing. I had intended on doing a lot of hand washing, but not in Ireland, there's no sun. And that has been €1.19 a day over the month. And then
with the washing, because we don't have a washing machine, so we use, what are they, washing machines that you see in petrol stations. Right, go figure.
Yeah.
but they're
washer
there,
and dryer,
and that's expensive.
It is expensive.
You'll get the big, what are they, 18 kilo? Is it 18 kilo machines? And then there's the smaller ones at 8 kilos, and then you got your same thing for your dryer as well. So when you're doing it on the run and you're using those services, it's going to be expensive. But we don't have the facilities to have our own washing machine. So when you're in that situation, you just pay whatever you have to pay.
We've had a little bit of parking. I think twice we paid for a car park, not to stay, but just when we were in some sort of village where we had to pay for it. And we did one short ferry crossing, and that works out to be 32 cents a day. Now, they're all of our costs, with the exception of, and we've added it in into the final amount, so you'll get that for the daily final amount. I haven't broken them down, I should have. We had to pay for our car insurance with Allianz, and we had to pay for health insurance when we came over here. Now what I've done with that is I've broken that up over the whole year, and then I've just done it monthly and added it on to this monthly amount. So basically our costs per day have been €55.47, which equates to €1,719.45. It doesn't
monthly.
A month, yeah. $1,719.45 for the month. It doesn't take into consideration we did pay quite a bit of money to ferry across here. That will go into our annual costings when we do all that, because we paid for that long before we got here. So we're just going to throw that into the annual cost when we do a 12-month cost. So yeah, we're pretty happy with what it's cost us. I was expecting a lot more because Northern Ireland is really expensive. It's like it's Great Britain. So
Yeah,
it's
Northern Ireland
UK
is
prices.
UK pricing. So whatever you're paying in the UK, you're going to pay when you're in Northern Ireland, and there's no escaping that. It is what it is.
And it's more expensive than Republic of Ireland.
It is more expensive than the Republic of Ireland,
So
but we still loved it nevertheless.
we loved it, absolutely loved it. So it's just like being in England. You just pay more money, unfortunately. But we were pretty happy with the costing for our first month. We believe we can do a lot better, particularly when we stop going to pubs and listening to music.
So
and having a
again, what's
couple
that?
of
What's
drinks.
that daily cost? Okay, so just to recap on all that, the main figures a day. What is it costing us in euro to be in our motorhome travelling the great country of Ireland?
€55.47, and I'm pretty happy with that. What I haven't put into there, because it's not something most people would be doing, and we just kind of kept that separate because it's really not a cost I would think that every person would be looking at. And that was, we've been buying books, and we've been buying quite a few books because once we leave Ireland, all the bookstores are going to be in foreign languages, and we like to read. So,
Yeah.
and we've been buying them from secondhand bookstores, so they really, we've probably spent about 20-30 euro tops. And we've read a few of our books already, so we'll be exchanging them before we leave. And so that's not in there, but if you wanted to add another 20 or 30 euro onto the monthly, that would be about it. And it's been relatively pretty good, I think. I'm not.
Yeah, look, I'm happy. We set ourselves originally a budget of €500 a week, so we're coming in under budget.
Yep.
And given that we were in probably half of that time we were in Northern Ireland,
Yeah.
at a guess, to come in under budget, we're really happy. It makes it affordable for us to do this long term. So yeah, we'll just keep going, and we'll
right.
do this. We might do maybe a quarterly update and come back to you a bit further down the track and how things are travelling. But we wanted this to be informative. As we've always said, we're giving open and honest reviews, just so that you know what the real deal is if you're thinking about doing the same. And at this stage, I would say if you can afford €55.47 a day, well, then it's doable.
Yeah, and the other thing that we haven't put into it is things that we're buying for the motorhome, and we haven't done that because we're going to do a whole different costing for the purchase of the motorhome prior to getting here, the setting up of the associate civil that we had to do, the purchase of the motorhome, the things that we've done. We haven't done that yet because we're still getting a few things done to it, which we'd always planned.
Okay.
So we've got a few things that we want to add to that costing, and when we get all that together, then we'll do another video. We'll show you the motorhome because we've been doing a few things to it, and you can have a look at how our little home looks and how much it's cost to set up. And
Yeah, so this
all
is
that
just
stuff.
running costs, that's all.
Yeah, this
Just
is our
running
day-to-day cost, not,
Day-to-day costs.
not setting
Obviously, as Joanne pointed out, there's things on top of that, which is just life.
We found Ireland a bit more expensive than Europe, so we think that this is pretty good so far. It's affordable, and we know that we can keep doing it.